Hello, Senators. Thank you for your time. My name is Alexander Fan Dedi. I air from Wakefield, Rhode Island. My family tree goes back to the original settlers here in Rhode Island, the Dowdys, the Tafts, the Woods. And my father's side, the Fan Dedis and the Casquillas, are only about 6 or so generations. So we've been here for a while. Allow me to get to my notes. My points tonight are, this morning, are that my fellow citizens have gone over their perspectives, their points of view, their significant datums that push their point forward, their yays or nays. Now, and pretty much everything I could say was just a repeat of them, and I'm not going to waste your time, and I have a test tomorrow, so I have to review for that. So, what I'm going to give you is some data that I find is not usually brought to the surface or known to be out there to be taken in. When I vote, my perspective is this, is that if I see anything that involves psychiatry or psychology, I take a closer look at it. Because my history with psychiatry and psychology is that the psychiatrists and psychologists that I've spoken with, that I've interviewed, that I've seen videos of, they will blatantly state that, yeah, there's really no science behind the mental disorders. It's the DSM, and it tells us what the illnesses are. So when it comes to, I know this is a really touchy topic, because there was a lot of people on antidepressants and psychotropic drugs, and in the effects, not the side effects, the effects of the drugs, it lists psychosis and hostility towards oneself and others. And historically, all of these shootings have involved, all of them, have involved individuals that were seeing a psychiatrist or psychologist, or had been seeing one, were on psychotropic drugs, or had been on them in the past. So that, not the item that was used to strike fear or to murder, was not, yes, that those were similar, but the actual deciding similar thing is that they were on psychotropic drugs. And it is clearly stated in the effects of the drugs that it causes this. But that's not a big talking point, and that's why I bring that forward today. The terminology is pushing away from that as well, and if there's... My point short is that the target that we're going after is the incorrect target, no pun intended. The dangerous item is the drugs themselves, and it's kind of the situations of firearms and drugs are kind of close cousins when it comes to this stuff. And that's why, in my humble opinion, that it's not a gun problem. It's a drug problem. Because if you took the drugs out of the situation with what I've gone over in my several years involving my research and losing friends and loved ones' respects because I bring this up and I immediately get a disconnect from them, is that the common denominator is the antidepressants, and that needs to be looked into. And I request that of you to look into that when you make your decisions and when you decide. I recommend a particular website is there are psychiatric or psychological watchdog, non-political. I don't know if you've heard of them. It's called CCHR, Citizens Commission for Human Rights.org or .com. And they've been going up against this for a long time. And when they were voting on the DSM-5, I was there in Philadelphia. And hostility and the anger that came off of these doctors was unbelievable. It was surreal, and it sticks in my mind when I make decisions. So I just wanted to read you a little bit of an article. It's a paragraph of one of their articles on the website. It's the CCHR International's investigation in school violence reveals that at least 36 school shootings and or school-related acts of violence have been committed by those taking or withdrawing from psychiatric drugs, resulting in 172 wounded and 800 killed. And other school shootings, information about their drug use was never made public, neither confirming nor refuting if they were under the influence of prescribed drugs or undergone other behavioral therapy. At least 27 International Drug Regulatory Agency warnings have been issued on psychiatric drugs being linked to mania, violence, hostility, aggression, psychosis, and homicidal ideation, thoughts of or fantasies of homicide that can be planned. So that's been the link through all of these shootings that I've witnessed in my youth up to the present day. And one other point I want to make is that I recently went back to college. In 07, I dropped out due to financial reasons, but I just recently went back into college, and it's great. I'm doing very well. I'm pumped. I want to work at Hasbro. I'm going to represent this state. But when it comes to the point of me even having to question that the tool that I would use to defend my life, which is worth more than anything, you cannot put a price on life, nor the age of the individual whose life is in jeopardy. Taking away or inhibiting in any way, shape, or form an individual's ability to defend themselves is a crime. I see that as a high crime. And the fact that it had to be put down on parchment and made into a recognizable, stable datum for this country makes it clear of how significant this is. And that's the majority of what I have to say, and I request of you that you look into that, because CCHR has a lot of data. They've been on this for decades. They've been attacked, and then it's turned around, and the people that have attacked them have backed off because the data that they have is true. So it's worth looking at.